Hello. As promised, my comments and thoughts on the ideal assault rifle, and I will consider comments from both Russian and English language subscribers. So please bear with me and feel free to comment, to agree or disagree with me and provide your own ideas. First, there were some very good observations in comments. The first one was a short comment toward my idea that the best rifle is the one you have at hand and you have ammunition for. One really wise commenter said that the third thing you need is training. So any tool, and rifle is a tool, is useless unless you don't know how to use it properly. So training is an absolute must. Fully agree. 100%. Next thing considered by many is that before we define ideal or optimum, we should define the conditions. We should define the concept of using the tool, the rifle. We should define the typical ranges, typical users, typical targets, and so on and so on. So there is no such thing as a general ideal. So it should be one thing for which is ideal for one specific task or role could be quite suboptimal for different tasks. So it's always compromise, and a set of priorities should be defined before we're speaking about ideal or optimum solution, and so on and so on. One controversial comment, which I do not agree, was that small arms, and especially infantry rifles, assault rifles, play a diminishing role, and they are basically PDV, personal defense weapons. This could be sort of the case if we are looking at a huge conflict where this Air Force, artillery, missiles, mortars, and other heavy weapons are primary killers and destroyers. However, if you look at, for example, at Ukraine, the small arms play a very large role because no territory can be considered conquered or liberated until your infantry is there. Until you have boots on the ground, and those boots must be armed with rifles. Otherwise, it's only a contested territory. So rifles, assault rifles, still play a very important role in the grand scheme of things. So relegating them only to PDV role, to defensive role, is a mistake, in my opinion. Next thing, many pointed out that one property that defines all key features of a rifle is its ammunition, the cartridge. So before we're speaking about any rifle, we should decide on cartridge. Should we go on with some existing cartridge? Should we change the caliber, for example, while maintaining compatibility with existing platforms? Should we change for entirely new type of cartridge, new caliber with a specific ballistic solution? And this, of course, will force us to select entirely new rifle to fire it. It's a question for every military around the world. But my take is that at this time, selecting a completely new cartridge, like Americans are planning to do with their 6.8 millimeter ammunition, could be a mistake, because for current crop of ammunition, it's like 5.56 millimeter NATO or Russian 5.45 millimeter, very optimized for very broad spectrum of warfare scenarios, of battles and so on. So shifting the balance toward, let's say, counter-insurgency compromises ability to fight in, say, high-intensity warfare with near-peer opponent, because with more powerful and heavier cartridge ammunition you carry less ammunition, and this could be a very serious downside. But it's up to Americans, and personally I have no objections if I go wrong way, and I plan to provide my own take on this whole next generation squad weapon in a subsequent video, hopefully, and sometime soon. So ammunition is important, and my personal opinion, but so far there is no reason to radically change the primary ammunition of infantry squad. Yes, you can change balance and you can try different options, but the benefits of changing caliber will go with costs, and I do not see a clear winner, any cartridge which could be all around better than existing ammunition. No 6.5 Grendel, no Creedmoor, no nothing. But of course, anybody is free to disagree with me on this. Next thing, a lot of people make almost a fetish on is accuracy. Is this more the spread in single shot. So people say, okay, we'd like our military rifle to be 1 minute of angle accurate, or 1.5, 1.5 minute of angle accurate, because, well, accuracy is everything. First thing which I would say, that minute of angle is a cheater's measure, because it's usually the minute of angle accuracy usually calculated by very small groups, like 3 to 5 rounds. Properly, you need to use statistically viable measures of dispersion, measured across the strings of at least 10 rounds and preferably 20 rounds, averaged between many strings of fire, preferably with several rifles of same class from different positions, and there's like measures like Sigma, R50, R100, and so on and so on. And while it is good to have accurate rifle, the extreme accuracy comes with extreme costs. Cost of ammunition, cost of new barrels, and so on and so on. And in the long run, ammunition is the most expensive part of the package, because for every rifle you need at very least 10,000, maybe 20,000 rounds. Yes, and if you, for example, to get better ammunition, increase price of your ammunition by $50 per round, with 20,000 rounds, you get extra $10,000 per rifle of the cost. So, is it worth it? I'm not sure. So, depending on circumstances and so on, but quite a lot of people miss the thing that outside of single shot accuracy, you need good full auto, a short burst dispersion, because really automatic fire short burst is quite obviously superior to single shot when used against moving, fleeting, rapidly appearing targets which appear at unknown distance, suddenly, often camouflaged, and so on. When you shoot at paper, single shots are the kings. When you're in real combat, the shotgun effect of a short burst significantly increases chances of hitting the target per single cycle of aiming and pulling the trigger. And this, in my opinion, should not be underestimated. So quite a lot of people concentrate on paper accuracy, but also you need the good dispersion in full automatic fire when shooting from unsupported positions against moving targets, and so on and so on. So this requires, at the very minimum, very effective muzzle brakes compensators. Probably some solutions which were tried by Soviets and by Russia were complex automatic solutions, like shifted recoil impulse, accumulated recoil, or balanced actions, but the cost of those complex solutions is a complex design with extra effort to maintain, extra weight, decreased reliability under harsh conditions, and of course extra costs because rifle with balanced or shifted recoil impulse costs quite a lot more than any conventional rifle. What is really important is good sights, optical sights and night sights, image intensifying and infrared, thermal. So even its optical sights are, in my opinion, needed not to get the extra long-range accuracy and say achieve headshots at like 500 meters. Primary, they needed to find your targets because unlike the shooting range, in actual combats, your targets hide, they move. They don't want to be seen, and even less, they don't want to be shot at. So to find the target, you need to see better. And here a good variable magnification optics with good lenses is the king, because it allows you to scan areas, even let's say only at 200 meters, and to find camouflaged targets and hiding targets. This is very important. Of course, there's other options like red dots and magnifiers and so on, but sights are most essential things. Good sights, good sets of sights for day and night use are essential thing for any modern rifle. So good sight mounting interface, comfortable installation, and so on. And this is, I think, the most important direction of evolution of the short term. Next thing is technologies and materials. Funny thing that plastics, which were taught at like a next step at evolution of firearms, the first mostly plastic assault rifle was adopted in 1977, Ester AUG, where gradually their use as a primary material is gradually scaled down. For example, all plastic Heckler Koch G36 is being replaced by aluminum alloy G95, Heckler Koch 416, the Italian Beretta 160 is planned to be replaced by Beretta NIR, which also is made mostly from aluminum and so on. So similarly, so it's a sort of step back, but there is nothing wrong with aluminum and even steel, because the K is not the material, is the properties, as mechanical properties, corrosion resistant, thermal resistant properties, and so on. And apparently it's easier to make strong and reliable rifle out of metal than out of plastic. So some people suggest that rifles should be developed like we say in IT, agile process. So we make something, we issue it, users try it, say okay, it's not exactly what we want, we do another iteration and another. So actually it happens more or less this way. So for example, if you look at a Russian AK-12, we had already third version in service starting in 2018. Yes, same can be said about Czech Bren rifle, which was issued within a third subsequent version this year. If you look at already mentioned HK 416, it's right now in A8 version, so it has at least 8 iterative versions with gradual improvements and changes. But I think it is better to do not to do this, start small and do bigger changes later, because it greatly increases cost. So in my opinion, the old waterfall approach when you first design a complete system and later on only make small improvements and fixes when you start testing. It's more correct and provides better results. But again, I'm old school IT developer, so I'm used to this waterfall principle. I'm old school engineer, so feel free to disagree with me on that. What everybody agrees that rifle still had to be very reliable and durable, because in military use any breakage or delay or jam can result in your death and failure of a mission. So reliability and durability must not be sacrificed at no cost. Another fetish, especially of some younger people who mostly seen the rifles in computer game, is modularity. They say, okay, we want a fully modular rifle so we can swap barrels of different lengths, different calibers, we can change magazine valves so we can use different magazines. Maybe we can go extreme and sort of create a modern Stoner 63 and be able to convert with simple part swap a rifle into carbine and then into light machine gun and then into sniper rifle. But I think it's a wrong direction. So first thing, so every modular design means extra parts and extra joints, which means extra costs, extra weight, and extra points of potential failure. In military use, it's not good. Second, the people young people usually say, okay, so we go into the field, so we install a long rifle, long barrel, so get the extra range when we approach, say, woods or city, and we're going to CQB, so we just pull a spare barrel out of backpack, short barrel, put it into rifle, and okay, we are set for CQB, and we are lugging a long barrel into a backpack. So besides the obvious extra weight of spare barrel carried with every rifleman, most people forget that after all barrel change, you need to re-zero your rifle. Especially if you change barrel length or change the caliber. So to re-zero your rifle, you need to be at the shooting range with at least 15-20 minutes of undisturbed time, proper facilities and so on. There is no way in the actual combat and even in the lull of a combat, say for example we are moving in the truck or marching, to re-zero your rifle for different barrel. No way. The idea to make a rifle into machine gun and back is bad because rifle and machine gun receivers have different requirements. So machine gun usually has to have a heavier barrel which is better suited for sustained fire, which means that receiver must be stronger and heavier of machine gun than of rifle. So either if you use a rifle receiver, it's too weak for a heavy barrel and will flex and bend, or if you use machine gun barrel for assault rifle, it's too heavy. For you have a lot of extra unneeded weight for a rifle. So not good. So the only entity who can benefit from modular design are manufacturers who supply in relatively small batches. Yes. So today they sell, we'll say, 2,000 rifles with 16-inch barrels. Next week they have a control for 50 rifles for special forces with like 10-inch barrels. Next month they have a requirement for like 2,000 barrels with 20-inch heavy barrels and so on. So for them it's easier to pull barrel-less receivers from the storage, pull necessary barrels, assemble and ship to the customer. And anyway, the extra costs are moved to the customer because customer pays extra for this modularity. So there's no loss for manufacturer. From a actual military point of view, I see no reason in such modularity. So, of course, some units use, for example, for R15 M16 type rifles, complete upper receivers, so like in 5.56 and 300 blackout. Yes. So we have a upper receiver with barrel, with bolt, and with sights complete, and we can swap it on a single lower receiver. But this way, the cost of two upper receivers with two sets of sights, bolts, and so on is very close to, so to add a second lower receiver and get two complete separate rifles, you need only small extra cost. But you get benefit of you having two rifles. So if one lower receiver broke or fail, you still have another rifle. But lower extra cost. So that's why I know many special forces have several different rifles assigned and issued to them, so they can take them for specific op. I've never heard that some special force carry spare upper receiver with different configuration on a single operation in backpack because it's extra weight. So in most cases that I've heard, in all cases that I've heard, the rifle is configured back at the base. So it's easier, it's more convenient, it's not so much more expensive to have two rifles, three rifles with different configurations. And the only benefit is simplicity of replacement, complete uppers or just complete lowers in case of failure or breakage. But then again, it's not so important. This modularity is real modularity. So it's more convenient for manufacturers and for maintenance and for purchasers, for those who buy, say, kits and then can assemble them in specific configuration. For end users, in my opinion, modularity is not so important. Okay, feel free to disagree with me and provide your own reasoning. So some people suggest that we need to seek some new physical principles, like I don't know what, Gauss rifles, railguns, so on. But as long as the existing batteries are concerned, there is no power source to get that kind of energy storage, and furthermore there is no high temperature superconductors, so it would not overheat and not waste a lot of energy just heating environment and wires. So overall, the way I see it, existing rifles will continue to live. So there is not much real improvement can be done, and basically we cannot get much more performance with existing situation. We need something revolutionary new, and everything which was announced as revolutionary so far, I don't see this actually. It's mostly marketing and hype. So actually, so there's no such thing as ideal rifles. There is a lot of good rifles suitable for modern combat. So there's most important thing, in my opinion, are sighting equipment, scopes for day and night use. And not necessarily very smart scopes with range finding and so on. This is better suited for snipers, designated marksmen, and so on. But low power, variable power optics with good lenses is really good solution. And I think it's the way to go. Another useful thing is tactical sound suppressors, which help to decrease muzzle flash, recoil, and allow for easier communication, better situational awareness. They are not silencers. They are not make rifle silent. They just suppress muzzle blast down to more manageable levels. They suppress muzzle flash, and they are really useful, especially in urban combat, in room-to-room operations, in night operations, and so on. So again, no such thing as an ideal. So there is a lot of good rifles, and I think the most effort must be concentrated on training, with absolute mass, and on sights. Everything else is secondary, except maybe new better types of armor piercing ammunition, like tungsten cores and so on and so on. New calibers, new ammunition types are big questions and need very careful approach, because it's easily gets expensive and easily gets over the board, and balance can be easily swung and lost. So I think this what it is for today. Thank you. Stay tuned. Please comment, suggest new ideas, and thanks for watching. Bye.